Here we go. 10-minute review of Blanchfield versus Andrade. First fight, Carpenter versus Ronderos. Carpenter, heavy favorite in this fight. As he should have been. It's just a skill disparity. No disrespect to Ronderos. Not sure if um, he's a good fighter. I don't know if he's UFC quality yet to be in a ring with some of the best up and comers in the world. And I think if you were looking at this fight, it was pretty um, easy based on the line as well to choose Carpenter. Um, Ronderos did take him down early. Looked like he put him in a tough spot, tough position, but Carpenter is good everywhere. He's good everywhere. Flipped it around on him, submitted him in the first round. Wasn't much of a surprise there. Next fight, AJ Fletcher versus Garimbo. Garimbo was doing well. Garimbo had the the reach advantage. I think they said on the broadcast about 10 inches. Big difference in the fight. AJ Fletcher couldn't really close the distance. Garimbo was able to take him down a couple times, but and you don't want to narrow fights down based to appearance, right? But Fletcher just looked a lot more physically strong than Garimbo. And if Garimbo's best ability is to get you on the ground and put you in tough positions, just the physical strength of AJ Fletcher, he'll be able to fight off those positions, fight off those submissions, and make it difficult for Garimbo to finish him. Um, to fight in the sequence. Fletcher hit him with a punch, and on a broadcast they said he dropped him. I don't know if he necessarily dropped him. He did hurt him. He hit him with a punch. Garimbo went for the takedown. Fletcher locked that head in, cinched the choke on. Like I said, physically strong. Ended the fight. End of the night. Next fight, Linza versus St. Preux. Fight ended early. Les was able to hit him with a straight shot clean. You could tell OSP was hurt. Tried to retreat. Lance got on his horse, chasing him down, throwing wildly. Finally able to catch him back in the way with his I believe his right hand was up, his left hand was down. Chin wide open, caught him, dropped him. Couple finishing shots. Fight ended in the first round. Maybe time for OSP to hang it out. Maybe a couple more fights. But from the outside looking in, it was a tough look for OSP. Next fight, Emmers versus Ashabov. Ashabov was undefeated coming into this fight. Emmers is very talented. He's a smart fighter. Ashabov threw a lot of shots that drain your gas tank. He put a lot into his shots. He put a lot of torque on his body, a lot of effort, and you can see by the middle of the second round, his gas tank was starting to drain, and Emmers was just very, very calculated, very smart, picking his shots in and out, dodging the big shots coming back his way, and he was very confident in his ability. I believe he did well in his previous fight before this, but he got injured. It was just an unfortunate situation on the ground. Uh, that his opponent was able to take advantage. I think he put him in a knee, but I think he maybe put him in a heel hook, injured his knee pretty badly. So he's been off for a while, and I think he was just more calculated with what he was doing in this fight. And he's a very good fighter. He's a very good fighter. He stayed disciplined, stayed under control, and he really controlled this fight. It was, you know, Ashabov, the type of strikes he was throwing made the fight more exciting than what it was. But Emmers, he just controlled the fight and did really well. I was very impressed. Next fight, Marner Bueno Silva versus Lena Landsberg. Um, at this point, it's just a skill discrepancy. Lena Landsberg is getting up there in age. Bueno Silva is coming on. She stalks you. She stalks you down. I don't know if she doesn't really throw with that much power, but she can hit. She can crack. She can crack, and she's obviously extremely skilled on the ground. So once the fight gets to the ground, she can end it at any point, and she's shown that in her last two fights. Marlon Silva is an interesting prospect. I know she's not necessarily young. I don't believe, but she's very good. She's very good, and I'm more and more impressed every time I see her fight. And I believe this is another fight with wide odds, where Buena Silva was heavily favored, and she should have been. And when you're heavily favored like that, what you want the person to do is go in, impose their will, and not make the fight look competitive. I know it's a fight game; anything can happen, but that's what you want to see, and that's impressive when somebody is expected to win by such a wide margin, and they go out there and do it. They go out there and do it. So I was very impressed with her. Next fight, Nazim Sadikov versus Evan Elder. Ah, lost my headphones. That's how I felt about this fight, though. It was it was such a good fight, such a good fight. And at the start of the third round, um, Elder gets cut, and the cut was, I mean, it was nasty. It was a nasty cut, and it was, it was right above the eye, and the blood was going to start to flow. And I understand why they stopped the fight, but this was such a good fight. It was, I mean, it did win fight. I was about to say it was on track to win fight of the night. It did win fight of the night. Evan Elder may have been in the lead, or it may have been 1-1 going into the third round, and it was just such a good fight, such an entertaining fight on a card that we saw some really bad fights, that it just sucked that the fight ended the way it did, and Elder was given the loss because of a cut. I mean, he did get hit with a strike that opened him up, but oh man, you just felt in the moment you felt so bad for him because he was fighting so well, and Sadikov was fighting well too, but. You wanted to see how that fight ended. You wanted to see them dig deep. You wanted to see them finish strong, and you wanted to see who actually would come out on top in this fight. So, and Evan Elder's last fight happened at 170, coming back to 155, and fighting so well, and being in it with somebody that, I think a newcomer who the UFC has high hopes for, and to see the fight end the way it did was unfortunate, but happy he got fight tonight. Happy he got his money, and Sadikov was the winner in that fight. Next fight, Jim Miller, Alexander Hernandez. Woo! Burner. Great fight. Um, Jim Miller just has the heart of a champion, man. I know he's never won a championship, but I mean, most wins in UFC history, you're a champion in my book. And he just came. Alexander Hernandez fought at 145 his last fight, back to 155. He showed extreme patience. Um, after the first half of the first round, he started to settle in, picking his shots, doing very well on the feet, very calculated. He was cracking Jim Miller. Jim Miller's face was busted up after the fight, but Jim Miller would not give up. And I thought at the end of the third round, he was going to be able to pull it out. I thought he was going to be able to pull it out. He almost did it. He almost got him. I thought he was going to get him to submit in the third, but Alexander Hernandez, hats off to him. Great bounce back fight. Um, Great mindset. Way to stay locked in. Way to not lose composure and to overextend himself on shots, just to constantly um, stay in the fight against a gritty veteran in Jim Miller. Man, sometimes you see these older fighters fight and you're like, man, I wish they just need to retire. Even some on this card, they need to retire. It's done for. It's over. But then you see somebody like Jim Miller and the performance he put on it. You're like, man, now I got to see him again. I got to see him again. That was Jim Miller. My hats off to you. That was an amazing fight. Alexander Hernandez got the decision win, but amazing fight. William Knight, Marcin Prachnio, next fight. Embarrassing. The fight was embarrassing. Absolutely embarrassing. I don't want to call off anybody's job, especially black man, Black History Month. Just being funny in that sense, but I wouldn't be surprised if this is William Knight last fight in the UFC. At some point, you got to make a adjustment. Even if the person you're going against is only kicking. At some point, you have to make adjustments. At some point, you have to go for it. You have to impose your will. It looks like you didn't want to be in there. It looked like you didn't care whether you won or lost. It looked like you want somebody that you're going against to do exactly what you want to do, so the fight can be in your favor instead of imposing your presence on the person that you're going against. It was embarrassing. It was a tough watch. It was all the things the UFC do not want to represent. So, I wouldn't be surprised if that was William Knight's last fight in the UFC. Unfortunately, Marcin with the win. Next fight, Josh Parisian versus Jamal Puegas. It's hard for me to say his name. This was great. This was a good fight. It was a good fight. Jamal, great takedowns, just timely takedowns. He wasn't able to do much on the ground when he got those takedowns, but they were just timely. They made Parisian have to work back to his feet, pushed on his gas tank, but the guys fought all the way to the end. They fought all the way to the end. I think it was a back and forth fight. I think it was clear that Jamal won at the end of the fight, but Parisian didn't give up. He kept battling back to his feet. He kept throwing shots. He would try spinning attacks. He would, that's all you want to see when you're watching any sport event, no matter what the sport. You just want to see the effort. You want to see the effort out of the fighters and the drive to win. All those cliches, you want to see it. So, um, the heavyweights they showed out. They did well. They laid it on the line. Jamal came out with the win. Next fight, Jordan Wright, Zach Pauga. Some people may say that this card was tough to watch, and it's mainly because of the Jordan Wright fight, I believe, and the William Knight fight. Because Jordan Wright was just getting pressed up against the fence and throwing these little punches that had no effect on Zach. And he was not showing any effort to get off the fence. And then he was trying to, showboat and smile and do things to the crowd. And it's like, bro, you're losing the fight. You are not showing any urgency to get off the fence. You are not showing the ability to get out of this position. And it is a really tough watch. It was a really tough watch. And I don't know. I don't think it was much you can take for this fight. Congratulations to Zach on getting the win. He imposed his coming down from heavyweight. He imposed his game plan. He pressed him against the fence. I don't think he was able. He wasn't able to get any takedowns, but he did a good job in this sport at this time. Wins is what matter, and he got the win. But it was just that fight ended up being a tough watch as well because Jordan Wright just didn't show. To me, he didn't show enough urgency in the fight to pull it off to get the win. Last fight of the night. Aaron Blanchfield, Jessica Andrade. Now, disclaimer. If you go back to the first video, it's only my second video. If you go back to the first video I made, and I have to be more consistent with these videos, and I will be. If you go back to the first video I made, was champions that I believe will be crowned, who would be the champion at the end of 2023. In that video, I said at 125, Aaron Blanchfield, if she is able to get the fights necessary to shoot her up the rankings, she will be the champion at 125 by the end of the year. I said that. Now, how confident I was, listen, I was a big believer in Miranda Maverick and after I saw her do what she did to Miranda Maverick, I was like, whoa. And then Molly McCann, like I said, when you these big favorites and you don't play with your food and you get in there and you demonstrate, you show the ability that this person is not on my level and you destroy them, that's impressive. What she did to Molly McCann, okay. I got it. And then also seeing Valentina struggle in her last fight against Talia Santos, I was like, okay. I think Aaron Blanchfield can do this. I think she'll be champion by the end of 2023, but she needs to fight. So then she got the fight against Santos, and I was like, whoa, she beat Santos, who should actually be next. It should be a rematch against Valentina. She beat Santos. She's going to get that fight by the end of 2023. And I thought she could beat Santos. So I said, yes. Santos pulls out. Jessica Andrade comes in. Oh, no. And it's all about matchups. It's all about styles. And I saw Jessica Andrade just now the fight, and I got worried. And I was like, ah. And then I was listening to Morning Combat, who's by far, to me, the best MMA show, period. On TV, on podcasts, period. Luke Thomas, Brian Campbell, easily. the best MMA um, show out there. And Luke Thomas brought up the fact of brought up her JJ Aldrich fight and how competitive it was, and how she didn't look good on the feet, and she wasn't able to take her down easily. And she did finish her in the second round, but it was a tough. And if you look at that fight, it was a tough fight, and JJ Aldrich might have been winning that fight. So I went back and watched that before the Andrade fight, and then I watched the Andrade fight against Lauren Murphy, and I'm like, oh my god, this isn't looking good. But you know what? I got to stay firm. I said that she would be the champion by the end of 2023. I'm going with Erin Blanchfield in this fight because that's what I said she would be. That was my belief. And if I believe that at the beginning of the year, I got to stick with it, and I have to stay true. And Valentina was able to take Andrade down 6 times, and she finished her. 7 times, 6 or 7 times, and she finished her. So if Erin Blanchfield can get her down, she'll win this fight. Boom, going with Erin Blanchfield. Man, the fight did not go how I expected at all. Erin Blanchfield was standing with Jessica Andrade, and she got clipped a few times. She got hit really clean a few times. But for the majority of the fight and the striking on the feet, Erin Blanchfield was winning most of those exchanges. She was getting off first. She was hitting Jessica Andrade clean, and whether she has the power to really put somebody on their heels. I don't know if she necessarily has that power, but the fact that she was hitting Andrade so clean, you can see that it was starting to affect her because she was just hitting her so clean because she like most of us was not expecting Erin Blanchfield to stand for most of that first round and deliver the strikes that she was able to deliver on Jessica Andrade. And as that fight went to the second round, I was more and more confident in my pick. And then the second round came out, and it was similar. She was able to land strikes effectively, but Andrade was able to hit her back. And when Andrade lands, she lands, right? So you can see, she was landing on Blanchfield. Blanchfield didn't really show it much in her body language, but you knew at some point she's going to shoot. She's going to go for that takedown. And in the first round, she was trying for the takedowns, but it didn't look like she was trying maximum effort to get her to the ground. She was just trying to, fill out her power, see what she had to do. On that, in the second round, on that takedown, on the takedown she got in the fight ending sequence, she stepped in between her legs, wrapped her right leg behind Andrade's left leg, and she drove her into the ground. She used all her power to drive Andrade to the ground to make sure that she got that takedown. And once she got that takedown, she jumped to side control so fast. She is such an elite grappler, wrestler on the ground. If she gets you to the ground, you are in trouble. She can do you like Molly McCann when she just rained it down those elbows, or she can get to her submission so quickly. Man, that was impressive. Oh my God, that was so impressive. Listen, I am beyond ecstatic in my pick. Now, I know that there are still some people in front of her, but if the UFC wants to push in that division and wants people excited, I know the Talia Santos fight was good. Manon Ferrell has power. Erin Blanchfield is 23 years old. Erin Blanchfield just steamrolled Jessica Andrade, who's a big name. After and the timelines matchup. I'm sorry. People have been moved to the front of the line a lot. People have been given opportunities that they didn't deserve, or not that they didn't deserve, that other people were more deserving at the time. I understand that. This is one of those times. The timelines match up perfectly. Valentina's about to fight March 4th. Blanchfield just got done fighting February 18th. They match up perfectly. August, September. Erin Blanchfield, Valentina Shevchenko. The time is now. We need some excitement. Valentina's been running through these girls. We need the excitement and the energy that, somebody can beat her. We believe somebody can beat her. Whether it's 75, 25, oh my God, let's say 75, 35. 60-40, we need the belief, the energy that somebody can beat her. I believe Erin Blanchfield can do it. It's Erin Blanchfield time. Let's go.